been pronounced, if ye have faith in his signs. The signs of God. Don't mock the signs of Allah. If you have faith in the signs of Allah, then you have to eat meat that they have blessed it with Allah's name. I don't know which one it is. There are so many meat there that hasn't been blessed in the name of Allah. People are eating. If you fall into that, it tells you that Allah is most merciful and most gracious and often forgiving. So he forgives you, forgive you. Why is it then important to sort of straight on it? If you can forgive me and I'll be okay if I eat the thing or I eat something which is not of, then why would you be so, concentrative of this idea of me eating it in the other way? If you're okay with it, when I forget myself and I eat it, you are not okay with it when I intentionally eat it, because it's more like disobeying you, but not necessarily the food that I have eaten. It's food, isn't it? In the Bible, it even says that what goes inside you is no problem. Yet, it is a strong taboo there about food that the Israelis were told not to eat. A lot of food, meat, and all that they are not supposed to eat. And yet, here was Jesus Christ telling them that the food that you eat into your body, it won't defile you. Why would he say that to the Jews? The Jews will look at him, they say, what is wrong with this man? You are telling us that the food that we take into our body, we eat in, it will not defile us, but what comes out of us. But the law also tells us that we shouldn't eat this crabs and all these animals and grass cutters or whatever it is. And you are not telling us that the food we eat will not defile us. They certainly were confused. Now, if we go from 119, why should ye not eat of meats on which God's name hath been pronounced, when he hath explained to you in detail what is forbidden to you, except under compulsion of necessity? But many do mislead men by their appetites, unchecked by knowledge. Thy Lord knoweth best those who transgress. Eschew all sin, open, that's 120, open or secret. Those who earn sin will get due recompense for their earnings. In 121, verse 121 of Surah 6, it says, eat not of meats on which God's name had not been pronounced, that would be empty. But the evil ones ever inspire their friends to contend with you. If ye were to open them, ye would indeed be pagans. If you are being inspired to go along that, you will become a pagan. And we know what pagan is in that text. And then from there, it tells you if we are to move to the same Surah 6, Surah 6, verse 45, it says, Say, I find not in the message received by me by inspiration any meat forbidden to be eaten by one who wishes to eat it, unless it be dead meat or blood poured forth, or the flesh of swine, for it is an abomination, or what is impious meat, on which a name has been invoked other than God's. But even so, if a person is forced by necessity, without willful disobedience, nor transgressing due limits, thy Lord is oft forgiving, most merciful. You go to 146. For those who follow the Jewish law, we forbid every animal with undivided hoof, This is the message coming again to tell them that those who were following the Jewish law, they forbid them. That is Allah saying to the prophet, according to, if you read it, that's how it sound like. I don't know if you have different interpretation of it. It says, we told them, the Jewish people, those who follow the Jewish law, we forbid every animal with undivided hoof. And we forbid them the fat of the ox and the sheep, except what adheres to their backs or their entrails, or is mixed up with a bone. This is recompense for their willful disobedience, for we are true in our ordinances. Okay. So in this sense, but they willfully disobeyed. They chose to sort of go the other way. And so now we have given a new law, that is the Quran, to tell you what to do. So in many ways, it becomes clear why the Christian book of the Quran will be at longer heads. They will think that no, this isn't coming from Jehovah. The laws here are okay. But even apart from that, there are statements of the storyline which are supposed to be the same. If it's not the error of the Torah or that time which miscalculated the words or the storyline of something, then I don't know what probably is. Maybe it's the Quran which has come in with a new story and was said top of the head, like it was altered out without carefully aligning it with what the Torah has said. Because Jehovah says stories in the Bible regarding Jesus Christ, and the Quran is saying something completely different. So if it is Allah who is the same as Jehovah, and he changes phrases from what he has told, he has already spoken of before, then who was doing the mistakes in documenting things wrongly? I don't know. You figure out yourself. And if there is an error in the Quran or in the Bible, then we must really think again that it's not necessarily, if it's not the hand, it's not necessarily that we can point to God. Then we know that there's people's error in there which limits us to sort of depend entirely on the book in some sort of putting of some sort of way of life or way of worship. We really had to look into these things carefully. If now we move on to Surah XVI. Surah XVI. Surah XVI, number 114. It says, "Oh, eat of the sustenance which God has provided for you, lawful and good." Lawful and what? And good. And be grateful for the favors of God, if it is He whom ye serve. He has only forbidden you dead meat and blood and the flesh of swine, and the flesh of swine, and in any food over which the name of other than God has been invoked. But if one is forced by necessity without willful disobedience nor transgression due limits, then God is oft forgiving, most merciful. But ye say, for any false thing that your tongues may put forth, this is lawful and this is forbidden, so as to ascribe false things to God. For those who ascribe false things to God will never prosper. Will never prosper. In 117, in such falsehood is but a paltry profit, paltry profit, but they will have a most grievous penalty. 118, to the Jews we prohibited such things as we have mentioned to thee before. We did them no wrong, but they were used to doing wrong to themselves. We did them no wrong. We gave them the